What's up, YouTube? I'm Rob.
And this is Nick.
We are Coffee and Crypto. We have some bear market price predictions for you. But before we get into it, please like this video and subscribe to our channel as it helps us out with the growth of our channel because we're in it for the long run and we're here to provide you with education and market analysis. So give us some help, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into it for some Bitcoin price predictions. And why Bitcoin price predictions? Because Bitcoin leads the market and trends the market. So it's basically like the indicator of where the whole crypto market is going. So right here we have
bear market price predictions, right? We're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about bear market price predictions, but I'm saying in general, the reason why we're looking at the Bitcoin chart is because Bitcoin typically leads the direction of where the overall market trends. So wherever the price is of Bitcoin is going to tell you the trend of the rest of the market. So let's start with Bitcoin. We're on the 1-day chart. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay, so right now we're at 22,000 and change. So this first line I drew here is at 24,000. Let's see if it pulls up on here. No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm just going to zoom in. Okay, 24,000 was a previous. So for context here, the reason why I drew these lines is because if you zoom out, they are previous support and resistance levels of previous cycles and of people buying and selling. So that's basically what I'm looking at. So first we have 24,000 that is now acting as resistance. Okay, so we broke through that. That's basically like our new resistance level is 24,000. The next leg down of support and resistance is around high 19,000, 20,000. So we could stay in this range, high 19s to 24,000. We could range here for a while.
That 20,000 is additionally significant because it's the peak of the 2017 bull market as well. So that's got additional strength in terms of being a support because of that, because that was the previous peak. But I'm going to let you continue.
The 200 weekly moving average was at what again? It was like around.
We're sitting up. I'd have to pull up my chart and show you guys, but we're sitting basically on the 200-week moving average right now. That's been historical support over the past past 3 or 4 bull cycles. So,
all right. So we're basically in this range now. We're in the high 19 to 20,000 to 24,000 range. And we've already tested 24,000 and basically bounced off it. We have not been able to break through. This could be a new range, but what are some other ranges if we go lower? So the next ranges would be, let's see if we could zoom out here, is around 14,000 and then up to that $19,000 to $20,000 range.
One of your lines moved.
Oh, did it? How do you undo that?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, we did lose it. I think I had the line at around.
Yeah, you had the line at 20,000. That's a very significant level.
Oh, maybe I did move the line. Okay, so the next line down would be 14,000 into the 20,000 range. So that's a pretty big range. And then beyond that, we have around 12,000. So that's just basically going off of support and resistance. If I don't think we're going to get lower than 12,000, like that could be like the capitulation bottom, and then we spike up from there and then range, where some of these lines are. If we break below 12,000, I think, all bets are off and, we could see some crazy numbers, but in general, Bitcoin's not going away. But that's basically what I'm looking at for those ranges. So 20 to 24,000 as a range. And then in that, the next leg down would be like 14,000 to 19, 20,000 range. And then below that, I think the low capitulation level could be in the 12,000 range. That's basically what I'm looking at. No one can predict. You just got to have some price targets in mind. And we're at, that 20 to 24,000 range now. That came a lot sooner and faster than most people expected. So when you get to those price targets that people were looking at a lot sooner and faster than you expected, then you have to kind of like reanalyze and look at, well, if this already happened way quicker than we were expecting, like what could potentially happen and where could we potentially go? So just some perspective and some price targets. We may never hit there. We may range here, but it's good to have the awareness because It'll determine how you enter the market, how you dollar cost average in, and what your approach is. So Nick, why don't you take us over from there and let's hear some price predictions.
All right, let's go over here and I will pull up TradingView. What are we looking at here? We're on the weekly chart. This essentially shows the entire previous bull run up to 65,000 and then peaking at 69,000, and we've pulled all the way down to the 200-week moving average. This has been historical. Like, I can go back and you can see it touched here during the March of 2020 crash. We breached the 200-week moving average slightly, but it never closed below that. So that's going to be an important weekly close that we're going to be watching here. At 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday is when the week is going to close. So we're going to be watching that pretty carefully to see if that holds this level or breaks. If we do breach that level and start closing candles below this level, the next logical support is going to be like a back test of this breakout level, which is around 12,000 to 14,000, depending on if you want to call it the breakout right there or it broke out above this level before it started the major bull run. I can see us dipping all the way down to the 12 to 14,000 range unless we have some sort of a retracement rally that comes in prior to us getting down to the level. I do believe at some point in the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to have to back test this breakout level. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or if we're going to retrace up to the 702 retracement levels before getting down to that level. So that's kind of the unknown at this point. If we call this the bottom at 21,000 and we do catch support on this 200-week moving average, our 702 retracement level is around 54,700. We could slowly work our way back up there before completely rolling over and getting down to back test this breakout. So the big question I have with the market is, are we coming down there right now? Or is it going to take a lot longer to play out? Are we going to have a retracement before we dump all the way down there? Because historically, markets always have to back test their breakout levels. That's like almost like 100% confidence. Maybe not completely 100%, but they always will go back, and at least in the charts that I've seen, it's like almost 98% chance of it happening from the charts that I've seen. So that is kind of what I'm looking at. So one other thing we can do is, if we do go all the way back and back test this, is that going to be the start of a new bull market? So we can adjust the fibs, and they actually line up decently well down there when we pull it down to that breakout level. We could see a retracement up to around 51,800 before, if things are going to get real bad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which scenario is going to play out. I'm just giving the two scenarios that I could see playing out technically. Are we going to catch support here, or are we going to just quickly go all the way down and back test that breakout level? Actually, that would probably be the most bullish scenario in what I'm seeing. If we knock out all the weekends, back test this, I think that's going to hold as our bottom support, and we're just going to slowly grind down in this level, maybe in between 12 to 25,000, doing an accumulation phase maybe over the next year to 3 years before we break out into our next bull market. So it could be like some very short-term pain, but I would almost like to see everyone get wiped out, everyone forced to sell that has to sell, that's over leveraged, and just like get the long-term holders in accumulating, and then we can start a next bull market on Bitcoin and all the other coins that I believe have real world utility and are going to be sticking around for this next bull cycle. That's kind of what I'm seeing. What do you think, Rob?
That's a good point. At this point, I don't know how much. Well, at this point, I don't see a retracement rally happening. I think the second scenario is likely to happen where, let me go back to my chart where we would hit that 12,000 bottom, and then I'm going to come over here because feel like what might happen is, we had this, if we're comparing cycles, like we had this big run up, come up, 69,000, whatever. And then we're kind of like,
this is back in 2018.
right. I know. I'm looking at this. I feel like we're kind of like in this range here where we could go down. That's 12,000. Then maybe we come back up, and then we just have this like long, slow grind for the next couple of years before we have the next leg up, just kind of comparing cycles. But I think that's probably the most likely is, we either stay in this range, 20 to 24,000 range, or we're just going to go, either nuke or slowly bleed down to that 12,000 retest. And then from there, it will probably be, a bear market grind sideways. And then we have that next leg up when money is loose again. But to finish off that thought, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, this is a question for you, Nick. Do you think that there's people in this scenario? I mean, there's definitely people in this scenario. I was just wondering, like, what are they going to do? So the scenario is they bought around that time period, 12,000, 6 to 12,000, whatever it was before we took off here. And they held all the way through because they thought it was going to 100K. They completely round tripped. Now we're at 20,000. Do you think they're like, well, the economic environment looks bad. I basically round trip this thing. I bought in around 10,000. If I sell now, I'll still make a profit and I can just buy back in lower. Do you think there's people like that? They're just they're ready to sell.
I think the people that are selling right now are the ones that are being forced to sell, the ones that are leveraged. If you're a person that believes in crypto long term, why would you be selling if you're down 70% or 60% on your investment?
Well, imagine you bought at 10,000. We're at 20 plus or minus thousand now, and you just round tripped the whole bull market, and you're like, well, I can get out now and just buy back in lower because the macroeconomic looks terrible.
So that's the other scenario is do you think that you can buy back? So there's two people that are selling right now, I believe. They're either forced to sell, or because the market's going down, they think they can sell and buy back in lower. Because if you truly believe in crypto, like what other reason would you sell? I mean, I can't think of another reason other than you think you can get more Bitcoin at a lower price. Say you sell at 20,000 and you think you can get it at 12,000. Well, you can almost double your Bitcoin stack at that point if you are able to get those prices. So, and then there's the other scenario where you get over leveraged on a position and you're just forced to sell because you have no margin left. So, at least that's how I see it. I don't see any other reason why anyone would be selling crypto right now if you truly believe in.
Where you gotta sell to buy rice and beans.
Or there's maybe there's people out there that they're looking at layoffs because crypto.com and Coinbase are laying off people. If you actually have, but that's the same forced sell scenario. Yeah. You don't have margin in your budget to, it's not like you're getting liquidated out of a leverage position, but you don't have margin in your finances. You have to actually go buy food with the crypto. So yeah, you're forced to sell, or you're selling to buy back lower. Because to me, it doesn't make sense to sell crypto right now. If you're investing in a good project, it doesn't make sense.
Got to hodl. But to wrap it up there, just two different approaches to the charts. I'm just going off of support and resistance from previous times. Nick's using more of the Fibonacci technical indicators. We pretty much came to the same conclusion. That 12, 13,000 range seems like the bottom of a previous retest area
back test in the breakout level.
Yeah. And then there's ranges in between. There's 19,000, there's 14,000. There's all these little ranges where we can create, right now we broke 24,000 and that's our new resistance level. So those are just ranges to keep your eyes on. That's it for my comments. Nick, why don't you close this out?
No, definitely stay tuned to our technical analysis. We're going to continue to be updating everyone on how we see the markets playing out. We're going to continue to make these videos and give our predictions. So just continue to watch. But we also want to remind you that Rob and I are not financial advisors. Do your own research before you invest your hard-earned money. That's all I got to say. Let's wrap it up there.
Thanks, guys.